Greg Sankey, one of my favorites. I love watching this guy do his work for the SEC, the commissioner of the SEC. First time I met him was at the Super Bowl, where it was in Minnesota, I think. No, it was Atlanta. That's where it was. It was a Super Bowl because you were with me in the commissioner's suite in Minnesota.
In Minnesota.
Wearing a Red Sox hat.
Great.
What a dummy.
I don't understand your take on this.
You can't wear. You can't wear. I'd rather you have worn the Rob Lowe NFL hat.
What do you?
I like that.
I really don't understand your take on this.
Because it's another sport. You don't show up. You wouldn't show up to in Rob Manfred's suite wearing a Patriot hat.
If I wore a Patriot hat every single day and it was firmly broken in, like the one I was
Didn't Roger
wearing,
Goodell point it out to you?
No. I was pacing in the fourth quarter, and he was like, "You all right? You gonna make it?"
Yeah, because of the.
And I'm like, "Yeah, I'm fine."
You were stunned by the
our defense can't stop anybody.
By the Philly special, man.
What is happening?
I know, right? Yeah. But at any rate, Sankey, I met him. I sat next to him in the commissioner's suite for the Super Bowl between the Rams and the Patriots in Atlanta. And he was sitting there telling me about all the SEC players that were in the Super Bowl that year. He was just all about the SEC, and this was at the height of the It Just Means More. This guy, man, he just and he basically he runs a sport. It's that simple. He runs, I think he should, if he doesn't really, run college football. Because he's on the ball. He totally gets it. He knows exactly what's up. And this is the first SEC Media Day where there's 16 teams. Texas and Oklahoma are in the fold.
Let's go.
I know, right?
Let's go.
Just at a time as Nick Saban is there reporting on it from ESPN. Did you hear this today? That Nick Saban left his credential in his hotel room.
They wouldn't let him in.
We have that?
Oh, can we?
I think we have this moment.
Amazing.
from he was telling the story to Greeny on Get Up. It's not like his face is his identification. Like he built the SEC for Christ's sake.
What do you mean you're not going to let me in? Get out of here.
Good Lord, he built this place, and but now he's not coaching Alabama anymore. Where's your credential,
if
coach?
There's ever a time for do you know who I am?
Well, he didn't pull that, to his credit. Check it out.
I've never worn a credential in my life and was always for 17 years able to get into SEC Media Day without a credential. I had to go back to the room today and get my credential to get in. So that's one of the biggest changes I see. It's not like it used to be.
Oh,
so funny.
It's a new SEC world, Texas and Oklahoma here. So Greg Sankey was asked if there was, Texas and Oklahoma might have some run of the place like they used to at the Big 12. Now that they're at the SEC table. You ready for this answer? Hit it.
Texas liked to think it ran things in the Big 12. I was curious what you would state as far as your expectation of Texas' influence and impact on the playing fields and in the boardroom.
I actually think I just answered that to Barry, that both are now part of a conference with peer athletic programs and peer universities. So they'll fit and we'll fit together as 16.
He's also just so calm, casual, and direct about answers like that.
He's like the president of college football. He's the POTUS, man.
So funny.
And so, what a great way to basically say they've upgraded. And he just took a shot at the Big 12, didn't he? In a very passive way.
Big time.
Well, there's peer universities here. What? Baylor wasn't their peer. Yeah. Now, here's the money quote again, because you have to listen to what this man is saying. I'm telling everybody the Super Leagues are coming. It's coming. We're going to see a time when this man, Greg Sankey, in a working group with my former boss at CBS Sports, Tony Petitti, now the Big Ten commissioner. They're in a working group together. That, again, remember last time we heard from Sankey? where he was talking about how he reached the phone to call Tony Batiti after a working group that had multiple programs and multiple conferences at an NCAA chit-chat. Talking about NIL, and here's the SEC commissioner in the back of the room waiting to hear what other conferences' questions are of the working group about name, image, and likeness and all the other issues that are confronting college athletics right now. And he said there were crickets in the room, essentially. Nobody said anything, and he's just like, I got to call Tony, basically. See, if I can paraphrase. Tony, can you believe this? Let's work. Let's form a working group. Because, again, at some point, the answers are going to have to come, not just on behalf of the member schools, but on behalf of the kids who are being promised NIL deals and promised transfer portal gigs if they enter the transfer portal. If they come to our spot, I'll offer you these gigs. And then they go in the transfer portal and they don't get NIL, they just get no. They get a name. And they don't get the job because some other kid came in the transfer portal and took the job. And there's no piece of paper that the kid can say, but you told me this. There's got to be rules on a piece of paper that can be enforced. And if that means the kids are in a union, then let's figure something out on that. And the only way to do that is to get the schools with the same issues and the same problems in the same room and let them figure it out in a smaller environment, not some monster environment where other schools and other programs that don't have the same issues to the extent that the SEC and the Big Ten or other larger institutes, other peer conferences maybe, like the Big 12. It's coming. But not, in Greg Sankey's opinion, yet from private equity, because that's the thing that it's trying to push the super leagues right now is outside money, not money that's in the pipeline from television deals and everything else. Outside money saying, we'll provide the funds, we'll put this together for you. Redbird Capital is an organization that's being mentioned right now when they're not buying what? Paramount?
Right.
As for private equity at this event, in this media session in Dallas, he said there are outside ideas, Greg Sankey, outside ideas, he's referring to them, that come from those apparently associated with private equity firms, professional league search firms, former executives from leading media companies who want to ensure their thinking. We have new wave entrepreneurs who want to be on the so-called front end of the new paradigm for college athletics. So not yet, is what he's saying. And then in terms of the impending House settlement and outside forces circling college sports in the SEC Media Day, he said, quote, we are literally working to make what would normally be a decade's worth of change in a matter of months. I'm telling you, this is all raining down right now. And this is the guy with his 16 member schools and the Big Ten with, I believe, that now their 16 member schools together. Add them together. What number does that make? 32. How many franchises are there in the National Football League?
32.
Okay, so you're halfway home. Give me 32 others. And you got two conferences of 32 with maybe two divisions of 16 or four divisions of 4. Where have you heard that one before?
I think we could find 64 teams that
I'm
are worthwhile.
telling you, you do it. You do what the NFL model is twice over.
Right.
The question is, who's going to do it and when? Not yet is the answer.
Within
Greg Sankey, and not from private equity. He's not. I don't think he's interested in doing that just yet.
We'll see it in a decade. I bet.
I can't wait to get Sankey on here. He's said it. We're circling a time to get the SEC commissioner, who I love chopping it up with. I really do. Although that day when we're sitting there watching the Patriots and the Rams have at it, and he's talking about all the SEC players out there on the field, because he knew I went to Michigan. He kind of razzed me for going to Michigan. He's talking about all the SEC players here in Atlanta in the Super Bowl. And I pointed to the quarterback of the Patriots. I'm like, how many rings does that guy have from Michigan? And that was the extent of my conversation with Greg Sankey. We've come a long way. We've evolved, is what I'm saying.
Well, your fandom has evolved.
I'm telling you guys, these days are coming. A decade's worth of changes in a matter of a few months. Good luck to us. Catch the Rich Eisen Show every single day on the Roku channel, 12 to 3 Eastern, for free.